Hi everybody, this is Georgia McCabe, and today's presentation blog post is 10 tips for creating a powerful social profile. Social networking nowadays seems to play a huge, almost necessary part in branding your business and helping your posts as well as your services go viral. And by viral, think spreading like wildfire by word of mouth. And by branding, obviously establishing your reputation. And everybody knows that, and maybe not everybody, but most people understand that the top four social media groups are Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We'll be covering those in future blog posts where I'll actually give you the kind of lowdown on the advantages and disadvantages of each. But the key is to really understand not only how they work, but also, where do your clients, the people that you're trying to reach, really hang out? That's really, really important. So, what I want you to think about before we go into some of the top tips is really, as I just mentioned a second ago, what does your audience use as their particular social network? So, for instance, as photographers, Facebook is huge. And it's also great for you because it's a great way, as I said earlier, word of mouth, where, if you do, in fact, allow people to, or you actually share some of the images that you've done in some of the shoots. And I've done some blog articles and actually some interviews with some photographers who've done a very effective job of this, where they'll actually put some of those up. And then, wow, you just watch. As soon as the people get them, they just want to share them with their families and their friends. And what greater way to really get that word of mouth about the particulars of, the photographer that they chose and how wonderful they were, etc. So what I suggest that you do is really, monitor your top social networks, I say here around the clock, but what I mean is, as much as you can for at least 2 weeks to see where the majority of people are hanging out. What is the strongest time of the day that they are present? If you're targeting working moms, obviously most likely they're going to be on, either maybe at their lunch break or maybe after the children go to bed at night. And so, and in fact, there's an actual product that you can try. It's called EdgeRank Checker, and what it does is it is a monthly fee, but it'll actually tell you the best time of day that people interact with you, and actually the day of the week that you'll get the most engagement. And remember, join in the conversation. Do not use this as a way to constantly promote and sell your services. That is absolutely a no in social media. So I really, really love to emphasize this to people because too often people think that they can just go in and say, hey, buy this, buy that, do that. That is the quickest way to have everybody just get turned off immediately. So that's a real no. Now, what I want you to also think about is that, think about this almost like a schoolyard. You've just moved into the community from another state and you're the new kid in the class. And the average person doesn't breeze in, start telling everyone to do and demanding their interactions. So what you need to do is make your friends more slowly and naturally. Let's face it, the only way people are going to fall all over you as the new kid is if you're already a celebrity. So don't expect, to take Facebook or Twitter or any of these sites by storm overnight, but do expect success. So sign up. I would encourage all of you to sign up for at least 2 platforms, and that could be Facebook and Twitter, or it could be, Facebook and Google Plus or whatever, and really, try and dedicate at least 15 minutes a day to monitor the conversations that are going on. And if, I like to limit that to 30 minutes because anything over 30 minutes really runs the risk of wasting, some precious time. It can be extremely addictive. One of the sites I didn't mention for photographers that's incredibly valuable is also Pinterest. So that would be one that I'd seriously, consider. So really encourage you to do that. Now, before you join, or if you already have joined, what I want you to think about is that, put some serious thought and preparation in what you want people to see and feel once they arrive at the scene, at your site. So that means really taking time to make the best of your profile photo, a little bit about your bio, your tagline. In fact, there's a great site. It's called Slogan Slingers. I think it's sloganslingers.com. And I really, love to have people take the time to put together a really creative tagline. Well, Slogan Slingers is it's a great tool. What it allows you to do is to put in some money. Say, you know what, I'll spend $20 or $50 or $10, whatever you want, and you give a little description of who you are and what you do and what your specialty is, and then people will actually come on and give you slogans and taglines, and they're really amazing, the types of things that you can get. So I encourage you to check that out, sloganslingers.com. So the other thing that's really, really important is to make sure that when you do use your photo, if you go to, in fact, let's go do that. Let's just go take a look at some of mine. And if I go here, let's see where I am here. Let's go to Georgia McCabe. And we'll just go to facebook.com. And we'll go right into Georgia McCabe. And what I'm going to show you is that all of my sites basically have actually have the same image. So you're going to see down here, this is Georgia McCabe, right? And over here, got the same, my logos throughout. As these go circle through, you'll actually see on my website, this one will pop up, but there's other ones. So let's go ahead and go to my website. And you'll see that on this, if I get better reception here, that'll pop up. And you'll see that, there you go. You can see that right there. And in fact, if I went to Twitter, well, let's just go ahead, go to Pinterest. And you'll see that I thought that would automatically sign in for me. Sorry about that. So let's just go back to, and there you go. So you're going to see that picture is consistent everywhere that I go. So let's continue on here. So just in summary, you really want to have a really good profile photo, short bio, tagline. You need to know what message you want to convey, who you're talking to, what is your target subscriber, if it's women or men or children, whatever it might be, seniors, or maybe it's seniors and moms. You need to understand that. Think about how your personality can match with theirs and what can you do for them. So it's really important to have your content, your language, and your graphics all convey the real you message. So now let's go into some of the things that we said we'd talk about, and I kind of went on and on here. But let's get right into, the top 10 tips for creating a powerful social profile. So number one, we already covered this. Use the same photo on all networks. I gave you an example of what I just do. 2, focus on the person you want to attract. We talked a little bit about, not only who they are, men, women, seniors, whatever, but I want you to think about their likes, their dislikes, their needs, their wants, their interests, rather than bragging just about what you do and your accomplishments. Think about what they are going to resonate with. Very, very important. Number 3, match your tone to your audience. Be more formal on more professional-oriented networks, like, for instance, LinkedIn. And quite honestly, I'd have to say Google Plus too. But you can be chatty on Facebook. Be succinct yet interesting on Twitter. And if your niche has a culture which includes, specialty terms, by all means use those as well. So, let me give you an example. If your niche is what I'm in, internet marketing, I would talk about joint ventures. I would talk about, new video techniques. I would, all kinds of things that would help people understand how they can be successful in internet marketing. If your niche is fishing, you know, you're going to not talk about, coffee grinders. You're going to talk about fish, fishing sites. If your niche is tennis, you know, you want to make sure that people understand, kind of the ins and outs of tennis. So hopefully I've given you an idea what I mean. So you really want to match your tone. Write a fantastic but short description of what you're about. So, really think about this. Don't rush through this step. Spend as much time on it as if you were writing a powerful resource box for a direct, an article or a press release or whatever. So really, really think about who you are, what you're about, what makes you unique, etc. Be real creative with that. Brainstorm with your friends, family, and peers, to come up with a catchy tagline. Or, like I mentioned earlier, check out that site that I was telling you about, sloganslingers.com. Find the optimal time of day to interact with your audience. I talked to you a little bit about the site that I was mentioning earlier. So let's just go here. I'm going to actually bring up a couple of these sites so you can see. So here's one called Edge Rank Checker.com. And it's a great site. And what it does is it'll actually tell you, best time of day that you can post, what the most effective types of posts that your audience resonates with. I use this a lot with a lot of my clients. And for the heck of it, let me just bring up Slogan Slingers as well. Sloganslingers.com. And this is where they'll come up and they'll actually give you different types of slogans, catchy phrases, etc. It's really great. I love this. Love that site. Okay, almost done here. Okay, number 7, be consistent and post regularly. The worst thing in the world you can do is to get started, go heavy duty, and then walk away and not do it. So I tell people that at a minimum, you should be posting at least twice a day on Facebook. And I personally like to do at least, well, I go kind of crazy, but 6 posts on Twitter. But the cool thing is with Twitter, with Hootsuite, which I've done blog posts about that, you can actually schedule these ahead of time. The same with Facebook. You can schedule these posts ahead of time. So you can do that, let's say, dedicate like a half hour or something once a week or an hour once a week to get them all scheduled. But then use that 15 minutes, no more than 30 a day, to actually monitor and respond back. Another big, very important thing is you need to be responsive. So if people ask you questions, you answer. If people direct message you, make sure you answer. If people retweet, you think. We've covered a lot of that in the past, and it's probably time to do another update blog post on that. Number 8, always remember that you can't let your hair down completely on a social network. All right, your business will still be judged by your behavior. So it's very, very important that you conduct yourself in the proper way. Be very careful what you say. A lot of people get very concerned that, people will come up, they'll make, negative comments, they'll complain, whatever. Many times, and in fact, this past week, I just have to digress here. I had our house painted. And when I saw what they did, I was not satisfied. So I immediately called the person up. He came out right away. He looked at it. He goes, "You're absolutely right." And he agreed to fix it. I have more, what's the word I want to use? I'm just like blown away. Okay, that's the kind of service I want. I will promote that guy because if in fact he says, okay, it wasn't a good job, the crew that he used, didn't do what he felt was up to par. He listened to me. Okay, I'm going to fix it. And the same thing goes. If anybody, says something bad, the worst thing to do is to ignore it or get defensive. Go right in there and say thank you. Also, be careful that you don't butt into conversations on other sites or other pages or whatever that might be offensive. Remember, people are they may not see you, but they are going to hear you. And then number 10, finally, the last one, and we're almost done here, is, really guard against being sucked into such oh my God, that was a slip up. Guard against being sucked into social networking purely for entertainment. Okay, they can be enjoyable, but they also can be total time killers and schedule disruptors. So avoid playing games. Okay, you don't need to be on there 8 hours a day. All right, use it for what it's really good for. And most of all, if a social network allows you to create a page for your business, create one straight away. All right. Worry about tweaking it and taking some of these tips that I've just given you and tuning them later. Hope you enjoy this. This is Georgia McCabe. And as always, you can reach me here on these sites at Facebook, Georgia L. McCabe. That's my Facebook page. We're on it daily and we do respond. Twitter is Mama Gigi. My WordPress site, georgiamccabe.com. And of course, you can always email me. Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing from you all.